Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration. We have an interesting and unfortunate episode today on destruction of historical documents. And so, I would really like to stop continuing on this series, at least for the ongoing crimes that have been documented against me. But as always, I am Brad. You have a constitutional right, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution guarantees a right to your writings and discoveries. You would think a fundamental mathematical handwritten derivation would be included in that, but I guess not. We'll get that to here in a second. The Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution also gives you the right or the assurance of just compensation of private property used for public use. Point being is, as I have a lot of rights to my writings and my discoveries, I have rights to receive payment for those writings and discoveries. It is clearly being distributed, and it has been for almost a decade at this point. And so I told you about all the way back in, it would have been right around this time in 2016, so going on 9 years ago, right around in this December, getting close to Christmas, effectively what you would say reached fundamental enlightenment. Basically, just again, my internal dialogue, I reached physical realization where it was just like, it was the most profound realization you can go through. It's like the biggest aha light bulb moment that could exist. So since then, again, I lived in an environment, the same house that I'm sitting in now, where the community didn't understand what's going on. People have always reacted to my intellectual capacity, but I was a linguistical savant, synesthetic. People didn't really know what that is, and when your capacity is understanding that language is irreducible, and everyone's already functioning on words have meanings, you can't really introduce a mathematical proof all of that easily. As you can see with from rhythm to algorithm, that's all the backing logic. I had done that entire process before I turned the age of 7. And then I had done that entire process over email from about December 2016 till probably early 2018, I want to say, is when I finished speciality. So you can see my entire introduction of diction, this new word, and then the complete reduction of that word. And so, point being is I have this big mathematical realization. I've been scapegoated and my reputation has been damaged and destroyed in a way where I have a flood of information coming out of me and I need to put it somewhere. And so, the most reasonable thing to do is because I was in school for physics and mathematics. And so again, we told you all those stories, just keeping it relevant to the damaging of historical documents. And so, point being is, I had profound real discoveries. They were written down. My reputation was damaged in a way that, you become completely aware that you're in possession of historical documents that you happen to produce. So it's something easy. There's no real historical analog because a math proof is definitive, right? You could take something like the United States Constitution, clearly a huge legal document, Magna Carta, the founding legal documentation for England, for the United Kingdom. Well, I think for England, and I also think for the whole United Kingdom. Regardless, point being is, where in history can you look at of certain accomplishments or things where you immediately know this is a big deal? And so, with mathematics and language being generalized past one individual, these results are independent of me. So at the end of 2016, I have this realization, and I start producing all of these mathematical results. I'd already really derived them, so it's you already missed my first derivation of a complete axiom, which would have demonstrated the irreducibility of words. But the point being is because of the reputational damage, OSU had sent me a cease and desist. And so basically, I immediately started emailing the people that I had contact with as my time as a student, because that's kind of what you're supposed to do. But then obviously there was very clearly just people who had no idea who I was immediately, and then other people get told by this collective "we can do whatever we want" team. They've said that directly to my face. Tell them they have to keep continuing on like nothing's happening, but at the same time, everyone knows something's happening. And so I get into kind of this where do I put all of this work? This is in 2016. And so this is at the time I had graded Herodotus, the histories, one of the first history books, word for word, the whole thing. Tolstoy, War and Peace, the whole thing. The first initial proofing of the mathematics, the whole thing. And so I'm sitting there nobody respects me or understands what I'm doing. I am completely aware that this stuff is very valuable, not even monetarily, but historically. This derivation is never going to be done again. And so I'm just like, how do I get these things out there? In the same way I would imagine anyone out there that makes YouTube videos. You want to get your work out into the world. You're an artist. You want people to see it at a gallery. You're a musician. You want to hear it on the radio. You want to see your work out in the world. And so my initial, like I was like so excited. I mean, this is like truly like the holy grail of mathematics. And so you can see a lot of my initial emailing, like I'm pumped up, I'm excited. And then you hit this brick wall where people are clearly like at the highest level of intelligence in government. You're not allowed to interact with this guy. And at that point, I'm like, oh, fuck everybody, because again, it's my legal right. And at that point, you kind of think the law matters. After a couple of years, you realize it doesn't mean anything. And so through I don't want to say pushing the boundary, because I'm the one that's truly being the victim of crime. Extortion, racketeering, conspiracy, fraud at the highest level, and no one really seems to care. So I'm over here just like a one-man team trying to figure out like global conspiracy, and I don't even care about that. How do I get a little bit of money, or how do I at least preserve my work, right? If you're Michael Jordan and you won a bunch of basketball championships, even if no one was there around to watch you still kind of like, I did the thing. And so I'm like, how do I preserve this work? What do I do? And so, because like if you're in the physics community, I'm sure you've heard of Edward Witten. And so kind of the initial things, when I'm looking at because I haven't read anybody else's work because I don't need to, I've independently derived all of these results. And so I'm just trying to figure out like, what the fuck is going on? And like, how can I know all of these things? And like, other people seem to not know that language is like consistent. And so, but then you learn about Edward Witten, and he was, into his earlier years, he wanted to be a linguist. And so there's very clear things, people know Edward Witten from physics. But when I hear that, when I see that, I know this motherfucker out there has these intuitions where I send him the right answers, he knows immediately that this thing is valid. And so there's a handful of people I know because of their own work that's public that immediately, when I started sending them stuff, they knew exactly what it was, no doubt about it. But that's just like a handful of people. Then you have the greater academic community that just either gets an email or gets some sort of notice, like, hey, this guy's doing this, hey, this guy's doing that. Eric Weinstein video comes out on Big Think. And at this point in 2025, going on 2026, you can't, Emily Reel at Johns Hopkins with Sean Carroll. You can't getting on stage and talk about a new paradigm for mathematical proofing. You open up the proof with the sphere packing densities, and then you progress to vibe proofing. It's just like demonstrable fraud to a profoundly disrespectful level. But through these years, because I went to Ohio State, again, as my own attempt to show you reasonability, I'm not going to approach Ohio State because I don't like the school, because they ruined my life. And they did. It's just true. But it's like I live in this environment. And so it's like I live 20 minutes away from a major research institution, and I have the most prolific handwritten derivation of mathematics ever. You can hate me all you want. You can call me anything you want. This is important historical documentation. So I'm genuinely thinking, like, where do I put this? Where do I get this so I know it's safe? It doesn't matter who believes me, what I'm doing. This is legitimate. This is historical research. This is once in a ever. Like, I need to preserve this shit. And so, point being is I have sent things that have been at least 15 different packages or derivation pieces. Again, it's literally, I've sent them either just books with derivation in them, because I just respond to language, and a book is a very clearly easy thing to derive over. And so point being is over these past 10 years, I've sent California, Berkeley, at least 15 packages that have been signed for, all very poignant, mathematical, and just straight up work. Just straight up work. And so, so I had enough material to send them something else again. I think I've documented or said this, but anyway, I get this package in the mail today. So as you can see, this is a box that I've sent to Cal Berkeley, and it literally says on it, refused. And so the only reason that I emailed you guys in the beginning, because the context was built over email. And so when we're doing sensorality, I had the whole context built onto YouTube and for handwritten derivation, or else I would never have even contacted you guys. Like, it's just a flood of information that I'm trying to get out and get preserved, because it's actual historical documentation. And so for the past 10 years, I've been able to send things to Berkeley, specifically to not interact with Ohio State, just so you guys don't think I'm doing anything weird, which over all of this, being labeled as mentally ill or crazy is fucking profoundly disrespectful. It's profoundly illegal, obviously, but then to project your insecurities, your state of mind, and I'm over here excited, simultaneously profoundly excited, and just like, holy shit, I actually solved these important problems. And so now, then outside of me, that's, you know, my life's work, all of my personal stuff, and then it's just genuinely historical documents outside of me personally. And so I send him this stuff. I don't even, like, I think I called him one time, maybe? I'm so dumbfounded as to what has occurred. Because I've never had something rejected before, and I've sent them like 15 different things. And it's all just work. It's just straight up mathematical derivation that I have a constitutional right to, and I don't have any way to preserve this stuff. I'm just in a normal residential property house. And I'm just like, this is like a once in a ever derivation. It just is. And I just want that stuff preserved. And like Michael Jordan wants his jersey. So then when they can say, look, he won this championship, here's his stuff. I'm sending them my stuff that I'm doing that, again, is directly either derivation or extremely relevant to my personal life for preservation. And so I send them this box. And what it has is, again, it had my license plates, which again had my truck that I've had for the past, since I've been in 2012. So all of this experience, that was the vehicle that I've been in. This notebook contains the derivation from pretty much all of the episodes, probably from Rhythm to Algorithm 68 or 69, nice, all the way up until part, like, again, I don't know, 200-ish, 180-ish, and the other one, I have another notebook right here. And so because when I was, back to Ed Witt and Sean Carroll, and David Eisenbud was the previous director of MSRI, the big mathematical section of California, Berkeley. So the reason I've been sending them to Berkeley is to avoid Ohio State, which is 20 minutes. Why can't I still go to the most major state research school right down the street that's supposed to give me my degrees? Again, that's still illegal. Again, even in this context of illegalness, I'm still just over here working. And that's literally all I am doing. And so I send them this. I've sent them 2 boxes. The first one did not get returned, and that was like 2 or 3 months ago. And I'm just doing a lot more work handwritten, because all of my other derivations have been over email. And so, but look how damaged it is. Look how damaged that bad boy is. And so this is historical documents, and it's getting thrown around like rag shit. Like, I'm just like truly dumbfounded as to what has occurred. But regardless, it has a derivation, again, with this notebook right here, more mathematics than probably any other single document that exists in human history. In addition to that, we have, again, all of my little mementos, anything with my handwritten stuff. This is all part of the derivation. So there's just different little mementos. Oh, here's a fun one. Charles Dickens. I don't think I even told you guys about this one, or I might have, but this was a couple years, or several years ago, probably like 6 or 7. But Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, 700 pages graded word for word, just like Tolstoy. Just graded. Just thrown around like rag shit. Totally worthless. Easily 10,000 theorems or dichotomistic pairs. Again, when I'm deriving over a book, right, these sentences are complete. They're structured as sentences. And so I'm deriving the logic. I'm showing you those connecting words in each sentence. Easily, okay, so this is like 350. I didn't finish this book. But 350 pages, Charles Dickens. Graded word for word, just like Tolstoy. Just thrown around. What else we got? Oh, so this is a fun one. We have Blow. This is a movie. It was a big cocaine dealer. When I was in Colorado, oh, look, it's damaged. Yep, broken open, case cracked. And so the guy that this movie is based on happened to be visiting, or he literally got out of jail basically the same day, not the same day, but the same week that I was working there. And he came and visited, gave some sort of speech, but was doing like a press tour. And so I have a signed thing from him with my signature for obviously historical reasons that science team knows. And so this is not, yeah, this is broken. This is definitely cracked open. So that's good. So that's damaged, if not completely broken. So that's cool, I guess. Then we have, again, the Reading the Constitution, handwritten notes, graded word for word, with my handwritten legal axioms. Right, legal axioms, those aren't going to be derived by anybody else. Handwritten, just sitting on this box, torn open, ripped to shreds. That's cool. Then we have the beginner Bible, which again, I'm not Christian or religious. It's just it's just again a major history book, but handwritten things in here as a child. Massive, massive piece of history. Then we have the Bible that I actually read for book club, which again is just a historical document. Again, handwritten notes, the whole thing, just a history book, but it's one of the most big ones, the first one to hit the printing press. Another massive piece of history. The Goodbye Eastern Europe from book club, all handwritten notes, all in there. Reading Law, all handwritten notes, all in there. And Papyrus by Irene Vallejo, all written, all in there. Just thrown around. Look at that bad boy. Torn open. My book's damaged. My DVD damaged. And then I still don't have where do I put all of this stuff? Where do I put all of this stuff? I can turn on, I have watched an episode of Pawn Stars where they have George Washington's get up for whenever he rode a horse or something. And it's all preserved. It's worth like $2 million. And you're just like, this is the one and only complete mathematical derivation that's ever existed. And like, I've never had any sort of friction. I don't even know, because David Eisenbud has stopped being the director for a couple years now. So it's like Tatiana Toro or something. But again, it's just the institution that I had during this weird extreme fraud and crime and racketeering and conspiracy and destroying my family and destroying my health and destroying all of my property. I'm literally living at my parents' house begging just for enough money to eat, sleep, feel safe enough to work, and that's all I do anyway. I'm already at rock bottom. I'm already at zero. There's nothing else you can take from me. And I just want a place to store my work. And so I sent that off to them without a thought. I've never had something returned like this or refused. I have no idea who, someone would have to, and then I can show you videos of David Eisenbud or Sean Carroll saying everybody knows. How does MSRI reject the most important mathematical documentation and I just want it preserved? You can hate me all you want, I do not care. What the fuck is this? And it causes me, so that's the general historical damaging of historical documents. I will still continue to live under profound stress. I don't have anywhere to put all of this work. I was literally getting to pack another box. I have a ton of books. They all have handwritten derivation in them. All of the results are independent of me. I don't even care on a personal level. This is just historical documents. And it's just thrown around like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Cal Berkeley, you have failed. I mean, beyond, again, I don't have access to court. You guys have thrown away my life. I've given up on that. I just want my research, my life to be remembered somehow. And my shit is now broken. And it's all on email. There's not like one thing that I don't do isn't watched by the science team or academics or mix of the intelligence people. And you guys can't just like not fuck up all my shit? My goodness. Like I just work. Like I do book reports and like talk about geography for crying out loud. And I just want, like, everybody knows I'm a real accomplished mathematician. I just want this shit preserved. So I don't know what to do, man. Like, I want to burn this stuff, because to me, on a personal level, it's just shit I wrote in for a couple weeks. But then me not being emotional about it, it's like, it is historical documentation, and it is completely my property. But then it's like, why, if my life doesn't matter to people, why would I care? I'm not going to reread any of this shit. I'm not going to go to my own exhibits at a museum. I don't care. It would be cool for my family to see this stuff actually play out in real life, but I've given up on that. I don't expect anything to actually play out in my lifetime, which is, again, profound crime, but that's just, it is what it is. You guys have set the rules that aren't rules. And so it's like, I have no idea how that got rejected. I haven't, because I've built I keep saying that, because I am the victim. And so when I try to get out of my shell, you can look at some of my emails from 7 years ago and be like, oh, he didn't say very nice things. Who cares? Like, this is the most important mathematical derivation ever. And so, but like this new director, I haven't been emailing anybody for years. It's been handwritten derivation, and you're just gonna throw it around and throw it away? I mean, truly, this notebook with the different episodes from Rhythm to Algorithm, And I still have a couple more derivation notebooks, but that's the meat. Handwritten, only time, complete mathematical proof. And when I bonk my head or when I die or whatever, this shit stops. And so, again, I don't know why, like, what crime is that? Destruction of historical property? If someone just took the United States Constitution, threw it in a regular envelope, shipped it in the mail, and then the Capitol building was like, no, fuck off. Like, what carnival retardism is this world, man? And so I just wanted to get this clear on record immediately. I have no idea what is going on. I continue to be the victim of crime. It's not like there's not a major Research One institute 20 minutes away. It's not like the United States Constitution isn't still supposed to be real. I have just normalized abuse. And the extreme emotion I feel when I get rejected. Again, censorality refuses. Censorship refuses. Censorship blocks. What I do wrong in this world is I exist. And then the world has to tell me no. Hey, can I do animal documentaries? No. Can I go to school and do math? No. Can I make a friend? No. Can I get a girlfriend? No. Can I have a career? No. Can I be a musician? No. Can I just write mathematical theorems in a book and send them to people? Clearly, no. And so I just wanted to get that on record again. I might try to send them again. I might send them to Sean Carroll. And I would put the return address as like Ohio State. Because I'm over here like, okay, the first box that I said, did they just straight up throw that shit away? Like, that had two or three derivation notebooks in them, completely full. And I don't care. I'm trying to build intellectual property. So if you guys are over there not preserving it or destroying it or any fuck shit in between, which I know all of my shit is watched all of the time because you guys have told that to me to my face. Can I just like preserve my property, please? But the answer is no. Again, the answer to me has always been no. It's all illegal. It's all profound criminal activity at the highest level. No one gives a shit. And so I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is devastating. All of it's devastating. But again, you guys neglected my health till I almost died. Why would you care about my work? I just don't get how you don't like understand that these results are independent of me and this is historical documentation. So that's another good point for language litigation and integration. So I have a couple more stories but I just wanted to get this out there as immediately as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.